It's strange how a single moment, a single sentence, can split your life into a before and an after. For me, it happened on a quiet Tuesday morning, when the world felt slow and peaceful, and I believed I had all the time in the world. That morning, I genuinely thought I could drift my way through another ordinary day. But when the phone rang, when my heart skipped a beat, when the silence that followed was heavier than any storm I had faced, that was when everything changed. And it all changed way faster than I expected. I still remember staring at the sunlight spilling through the window, thinking how unfair it was that such a beautiful morning could carry such heavy news. Life has this strange way of reminding us that time is never promised, that one small shift can unravel everything we thought was stable. That day marked the beginning of a journey, one filled with heartbreak, stubborn determination, unexpected miracles, and a transformation I never believed I was capable of. The news was about my father. A man as steady as the sunrise, as predictable as the old wooden chair he sat in every evening. Growing up, I always saw him as indestructible. The kind of man who carried strength in silence and love in small, unnoticed actions. But the doctor's voice on the line shattered that illusion. The words came sharp and unkind, landing like stones in my chest. Condition worsening. Limited time. Prepare yourselves. Time. Such a simple word. But when you're told you don't have much of it, every second becomes a wound. My father had always been a man who lived quietly, who worked hard without asking for praise or recognition. In our small home, he was the backbone, the unshakable force holding everything together. And suddenly, we were being told that force was fading faster than we were ready for. That the man who taught me patience, who taught me how to stand tall even when life tried to bend me, might not be here long enough to see the choices I made or the person I would become. For days afterward, I walked around like someone had unplugged the world from its socket. Nothing sounded the same, tasted the same, or felt the same. Grief wasn't loud, it was quiet, like a slow leak draining everything inside. My mother tried her best to hold herself together, clinging to hope like a fragile thread. My younger sister cried in secret, believing no one saw her. But I saw everything, and the weight of needing to be strong for everyone began to crush me. I found myself going through life in a haze, trying to smile when I needed to, trying to stay calm when panic clawed at my throat. I wanted to be the rock, the steady one, the responsible one. But every night, when the world fell asleep, I felt like a child again, afraid, angry, bargaining with fate. Asking questions that had no answers. Why now? Why him? Why us? But life offers no explanations. Only moments. And what we choose to do with them. That's when I made the decision that would change everything. If time was slipping through our fingers, then I would not waste what remained. I quit my job, something I had always been too afraid to do. I walked away from a routine that never fulfilled me. I pushed aside the fear of disappointing others, and instead, I turned all my energy toward my father, and toward a dream he always told me I was born to chase. My father always believed I had a voice meant to be heard. Not because it was perfect or beautiful, but because it carried compassion, sincerity, and strength. He used to say, "People don't follow loud voices, they follow real ones." For years I had ignored this, choosing the safer path, convincing myself that dreams were luxuries I couldn't afford. But watching him grow weaker, seeing the pride in his eyes every time I spoke, made me realize that the safest path often leads to the deepest regrets. So I began recording stories. Not just for the world, but for him. Every morning, while he slept, I would sit beside his bed with a notebook and microphone, pouring my heart into narratives of hope, resilience, and transformation. Stories of people who said no to giving up. Stories of ordinary humans doing extraordinary things. Stories reminding us that time, no matter how little, can still be enough to create something beautiful. And to my surprise, it started working. My videos began gaining views. Comments appeared from strangers who resonated with the words, people saying that the stories helped them through dark days. The channel grew faster than I could follow. What began as an offering to my father began touching thousands. I felt alive for the first time in years. Motivated, driven, purposeful. It was as if the world had been waiting for me to finally step into who I was meant to be. But even with that growth came a quiet ache, because the person I wanted to celebrate with the most, the man who inspired it all, was slipping further away. Every evening, I would sit next to him and play the stories aloud. Even when his eyes stayed closed, even when he could no longer speak, I believed he could still hear me. Some days, his fingers would twitch, as if trying to tell me he was still there, still listening, still proud. One night, as I read him my newest story, a tale about overcoming fear and finding courage in unexpected places, his breathing grew shallow. Slower. I leaned close, my voice trembling, and continued reading, determined not to let silence be the last thing he heard. And then, just as I reached the final lines, he opened his eyes for the first time in hours. He looked at me with an expression I will never forget. It wasn't fear. It wasn't pain. It was peace. And with the faintest smile, he left. The world didn't stop. Cars kept moving outside. Neighbors kept laughing. The clock didn't hesitate. But inside me, something broke in a way that would never fully mend. For weeks afterward, I couldn't record a single word. My voice felt trapped behind grief, my inspiration drowned by emptiness. The channel slowed, then stalled. People messaged asking if I was okay, but I didn't know how to answer. I didn't know who I was without the purpose of helping him. I felt lost in a world still moving forward without him. But grief has a strange habit of carving space for truth. One morning, months later, I found myself sitting at his favorite chair, the same old wooden one that had held him through countless evenings. I sat there out of habit, maybe out of longing. And on the small table beside it, tucked beneath a stack of newspapers, I found something I had never seen before. A letter. In his handwriting. My hands trembled as I opened it. The words were simple, written with the rough yet careful strokes that were unmistakably his. He wrote about how proud he was of me. Not because of what I achieved, but because of what I dared to try. He wrote that purpose doesn't disappear when someone leaves, it grows. It expands. It becomes something we carry forward not out of obligation, but out of love. And at the end, he wrote one sentence that changed everything. Don't stop now. Live in a way that makes time chase you, not the other way around. I read that line over and over. And something inside me shifted. The grief didn't disappear, but it softened, just enough for hope to return. Just enough for courage to breathe again. So I began recording once more. But this time, something was different. My stories had new depth, new vulnerability. I spoke not only about strength but about loss. Not only about courage but about fear. I told the truth, the kind of truth you can only understand after watching someone you love slip away. People felt it. The channel didn't just recover, it skyrocketed. Videos that once gained hundreds began gaining thousands, then millions. Letters poured in from viewers saying the stories helped them heal, that the voice they heard gave them comfort in their darkest nights. And through it all, I felt him with me. In every word, every breath, every story, not as a memory fading with time, but as a force moving me forward. My life transformed faster than I ever imagined. Faster than I expected. The loss that shattered me also rebuilt me. The fear that once controlled me gave way to purpose. And the dream I had once buried beneath doubt began shaping a future I once believed I didn't deserve. Now, when I look back on that journey, the grief, the fear, the unexpected rise, I understand something I didn't before. Life doesn't wait for us to be ready. Time doesn't pause while we gather courage. Dreams don't unfold only when conditions are perfect. Everything moves, fast, unpredictably, sometimes painfully. But within that speed lies the possibility of becoming someone we never believed we could be. And if you're listening to this right now, if you've reached this point in the story, then maybe you needed this reminder too. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't hold back because you're scared. Don't let time slip through your fingers while you convince yourself you'll try later. Later is never promised, but this moment, right now, is yours. And what you choose to do with it can change everything. My father's greatest gift to me wasn't the time we lost. It was the time we still had. And the courage he left behind. So take the first step. Chase the dream that keeps whispering to your heart. Live boldly. Love deeply. Speak honestly. And don't be afraid to start something new, something terrifying, something beautiful. Because maybe, just maybe, the journey ahead will unfold faster than you expect. And if this story touched your heart, if you felt even a flicker of inspiration, I want to ask you something simple but meaningful. Like this video. Subscribe to the channel. Not because numbers matter, but because stories like this deserve to live, to reach, to help, to inspire. And together, we can create a space where every voice, every heart, every journey finds a home. Your time starts now. Don't let it slip away.